Beginning of my marriage asterisk. My name is Emily, and I have been married to Ryan for 4 years. Asterisk Ryan was everything I ever dreamed of. Caring, ambitious, and deeply loyal. Asterisk our marriage wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful. Asterisk Ryan had one best friend, Ethan, whom he had known since childhood. Asterisk they were like brothers. They shared everything, from secrets to dreams. Asterisk when I first met Ethan, I saw the same warmth in his eyes that Ryan had when he smiled. Asterisk he treated me like a sister, respectful and kind. Asterisk little did I know, things would change. The bond that grew after our wedding, Ethan visited often. Asterisk sometimes. He came over to fix things when Ryan was at work. Asterisk other times, he joined us for dinner, cracking jokes that made me laugh until my cheeks hurt. I began to notice how attentive he was. He remembered little things, like how I took my coffee, how I hated loud noises, and how I always got emotional at old songs. Asterisk one evening, Ryan had to travel for work for 2 weeks. Asterisk he asked Ethan to keep an eye on Emily. It sounded innocent, and I trusted both of them completely. The night it all changed asterisk a few days after Ryan left. It rained heavily. I was scared of thunder. Ryan knew that night. The electricity went out, and I sat in the dark, hugging my knees. Asterisk Ethan knocked at the door. Completely drenched. Asterisk I came to check on you, he said softly. He helped light candles and stayed to make sure I wasn't afraid. We talked for hours about life, love, and loneliness. Asterisk, there was something in his voice that night, something deeper, softer. Asterisk before he left, he looked into my eyes and whispered, asterisk Emily, you deserve someone who never leaves you alone in the dark. Asterisk, I froze. I didn't know what to say. Confusion the next morning. Everything felt strange. Ethan acted normal, but I couldn't stop thinking about his words. Was it a confession? Or just comfort? Asterisk when Ryan returned, I felt guilty even though I hadn't done anything wrong. Asterisk I laughed, cooked, smiled, but my heart carried a secret confusion. Ethan slowly began to distance himself. He stopped visiting, stopped calling, and when Ryan asked, why doesn't Ethan come around anymore? Asterisk I said, maybe he's busy. But I knew the truth. The confession asterisk months passed. One evening, Ryan invited Ethan over for dinner. Asterisk when he arrived, I could see the storm behind his smile. Asterisk during dinner, Ryan got a call and stepped outside. Asterisk Ethan and I were left alone. The silence was heavy. He finally spoke. Emily, I tried to stay away, but I can't pretend anymore. I love you. My heart stopped. I whispered, Ethan, please, don't. He looked down, tears glistening in his eyes. I know it's wrong. I'd never hurt Ryan, but I needed you to know, because it's killing me inside. I stood up, trembling. Ethan, you've always been kind to me, but I love my husband. Please don't destroy what you both have. He nodded slowly. I know. I just wanted to say it once, and never again. And he left. The truth comes out, Ryan sensed something was wrong that night. He asked Emily, did something happen between you and Ethan? Asterisk tears filled my eyes. No, Ryan, but he's in pain. Because of me. Ryan sat quietly, his face pale. He said, Ethan told me before he came. He said he couldn't lie to me anymore. He told me he loved you, but he swore he'd never cross a line. I cried uncontrollably. Ryan held my hand and whispered, love doesn't always choose the right person. Sometimes it just happens. But what matters is what we do with it. The goodbye Ethan moved to another city soon after. He sent one last message. Asterisk, I'm sorry. Emily, take care of him. He's lucky to have you. Asterisk, Ryan and I stayed together. Stronger than before, asterisk, but sometimes when it rains. I still remember that night, asterisk, the night someone loved me silently, painfully and selflessly. The empty space after Ethan left the city. Everything in our life seemed quiet, too quiet. Asterisk, Ryan and I returned to our normal routines. But something invisible lingered between us, a ghost of unspoken memories. Asterisk sometimes. Ryan would scroll through his phone and stop at old photos, him and Ethan laughing. Arms around each other, asterisk, I would see his face tighten, then soften again. One night I asked, "Do you miss him?" Ryan sighed. Every day. He was my brother, but I also understand why he had to go. Asterisk, I nodded, fighting tears. Asterisk, because I missed him too, not as a lover, but as someone who once made me feel seen in ways I didn't understand. The letter months later. A letter arrived. The handwriting was unmistakably Ethan's. Ryan opened it and read silently. His eyes filled with tears. Then he handed it to me. Greater than Dear Ryan, if you're reading this, I'm fine. Don't worry. I found a job in another city. Life is calm, and maybe that's what I needed. Asterisk, I want to thank you for being the best friend a man could have. I'm sorry if I ever made you doubt me. Asterisk, as for Emily, tell her that she doesn't owe me forgiveness or memory. Tell her I'm grateful for the way she respected us both. Asterisk, some loves are meant to stay unspoken. Mine will stay that way forever. Take care of each other, Ethan. Asterisk. Ryan folded the letter slowly and pressed it to his heart. We didn't speak for a long time. That night I cried alone. Not because I loved Ethan, but because love like his hurts in silence. Years later, 2 years passed. Asterisk, Ryan and I became parents to a baby girl, Grace, of course. Here's the next continuation. Asterisk, the deep, emotional part 3 of My Husband's Best Friend Loves Me. Asterisk, this section takes the story years forward where love, memory, and fate meet again. Years later, 2 years passed. Asterisk. Ryan and I became parents to a baby girl, Grace. Asterisk, she had Ryan's smile and my eyes. And somehow she healed the quiet spaces in our hearts. Life became soft again. Every morning, Ryan would hold Grace while she giggled and played with his tie before he went to work. Asterisk, our home, once heavy with silence, was filled with laughter again. Asterisk, but sometimes, when it rained, I'd still find myself standing by the window, remembering Ethan's words, asterisk, greater than you deserve, someone who never leaves you alone in the dark. The unexpected message. One winter morning, I got a message on social media. It was from Ethan. After 3 years of no contact, asterisk. He wrote simply, asterisk, greater than I heard you had a baby. Congratulations, Emily. I'm happy for you, truly. My hands trembled as I read the message. I didn't know whether to reply or not. Asterisk, after a long breath, I typed asterisk, greater than, thank you, Ethan. She's beautiful. Her name is Grace. He replied with just one line. Greater than that's a perfect name. Then nothing more. No calls. No visits, just silence again. The reunion 3 years later. Ryan's company hosted a big charity event. He invited all his old friends. When we arrived, I saw him, Ethan. He looked older, calmer, but his eyes still carried that quiet storm. Asterisk, he smiled politely, shook Ryan's hand, and then turned to me. Asterisk, Emily. He said softly, it's been a long time. Asterisk, I smiled faintly. Yes, too long. Asterisk, Grace, now 5, ran to Ryan, laughing. Ethan watched her, his eyes soft. She looks like you. He said gently, asterisk, she has Ryan's heart, I replied. He smiled again, that same smile that used to melt me once. But this time, it was different. There was peace in it. The conversation in the garden asterisk later that evening. When the crowd grew loud, I stepped outside to get some air. Ethan followed. We stood in the garden, surrounded by fairy lights and the soft sound of music from inside. He broke the silence first. I never stopped wishing the best for you both. Asterisk, I know, I said quietly. Asterisk, I used to think love meant having someone, he continued. But now I know. Real love means wanting them to be happy, even if it's not with you. Tears welled in my eyes. Ethan, I never hated you. I just couldn't love you the way you did me. He smiled, his voice barely above a whisper. And that's okay. You loved me enough by being honest. The last goodbye before leaving, Ethan knelt down to talk to Grace. Asterisk, be kind, little one, he said softly. And never forget, people who truly love you will always want your happiness. Asterisk, Grace smiled and hugged him, even though she had just met him, asterisk, and when he stood up. His eyes met mine one last time. Asterisk, no words. No tears. Just silent understanding. Asterisk, he turned and walked away into the crowd, into the night, into peace. The final reflection years later. When Grace was older, I told her the story not about love triangles or heartbreak, but about selfless love. Asterisk, she asked. Asterisk, Mom, did you love him? I smiled softly. I respected him. And sometimes respect is a deeper kind of love.